Hey guys, doing another live stream. I don't really do this that often, so you know, it's a special occasion because they finally announced the premiere date of The Power of the Doctor, and boy, am I ready for it. I've I've made no secrets about how I'm not the biggest fan of Chris Chibnall's writing style or era, or yeah, that's about it. Um, but during series 12 and 13, I have enjoyed it not as a good show, but as something to make fun of. While series 11 was so boring that I almost fell asleep, 12 and Flux have been on a so bad it's good level, same as Piranha 2. So, like I did for the final season of Better Call Saul, I'm going to make a Power of the Doctor bingo list. What I think's going to happen. And if I get 4 in a row, then I win. I don't know what I win, but I'll win. So you get the concept. I like to think the idea from Jenny Nicholson when she did the whole Star Wars Rise of Skywalker thing. So this is technically her idea. I'm just stealing it. Anyway, let's get this list started. The Doctor doesn't regenerate into Shooty Gatwa. She regenerates into David Tennant, and he says, "What? What? What?" Like he did in you know, the end of his series 2 and 3. So I just think this is it because we haven't really seen outdoor shooting for Surigatwa for the anniversary specials, but we saw a lot of it for David Tennant. So which makes me think she's going to turn into David Tennant, maybe a couple other doctors, and then into Surigatwa, which would be a pretty creative way into doing bringing the 60th. Um, the curator played by Tom Baker did say that you'd be revisiting a few old faces, but just the old favorites. Okay, next we got the Master regenerates, but we don't see his new body or her new body. I just feel like that's something Chibnall would do. He'd try to like finish the character off, just like Davies tried to do and Moffat, and then somebody would inevitably bring him back. And we probably won't see who it is because we usually never do. Though in my head canon, I guess I like to think that the Missy was the final master, and this is just some earlier version of the master. Because why not? Why not? You saw Sylvester McCoy meet Crispy Master and the Big Finish audio I listened to for free. So why not? Why not? Why can't it happen again? Okay, next we got Yaz leaves the doctor because he won't date her. Now, this I feel like is an obvious one for me at least, because that seems like the type of arc they've been going to. Um, Yaz as a character is very strange to me because he spends the first 2.5 seasons like in the background, not really having a character, and in the last half seasons, he's like, I'm the hero. I love the doctor, and it's like, where was that? Where did that come from? Um, so yeah, I feel like she's gonna leave because the doctor's like, no, yeah, no, Yaz, I'm not gonna date you because I don't want anything bad to happen to you. Now let me pick up a new companion in like 2 episodes. Okay, moving on. We have Dan gets back together with his girlfriend. I feel like that was kind of obvious because of the end of Legend of the Sea Devils, best episode ever. But Dan's gonna get back with his crazy girlfriend who can't decide whether or not she wants to date him or not, which, in my opinion, doesn't sound that healthy. Um, because first she's like, "I want to date you," and then she's like, "I'm sad and I don't want to date you." So it's like, which is it, lady? Confusing me. Um, okay, moving on. We get forcefully empathized with a random character who then dies immediately. I think the word immediately is supposed to be here. I wish there was like an actual bingo called app you could use. Then dies immediately. So yeah, We're gonna do the Chibnall thing where we meet a character, like, and then the character gets immediately killed off, but he tries to make us care for the character at the same time. Where it's gonna be like, um, I don't know. He's gonna be like, my mom's in the hospital, and I have to see her, and then he gets killed for like no reason, like a red sword. He's like a red sword, but Chibnall tries to like make you care about him, even though it's pretty obvious he's gonna die because no character's introduced like that. But yeah, I feel like we need one more of that just for old time's sake. Okay, the Cybermen are again underutilized, so this has been a problem for me in not just the Chibnall era, especially the Chibnall era, but a little bit of the Moffat era, where the Cybermen are never the main focus of the story. They're always playing second fiddle to the Master, and I feel like I'd like to see the Cybermen used again as like a main villain. Because if you think about it, Death in Heaven, working with Missy, Road Enough in Time, the Doctor falls, overshadowed by Missy and the Master. Timeless Children, overshadowed by the Master and all that other crap that happened in that episode. So I think this will be no different. They're going to be overshadowed again. Okay, moving on. Tegan and Nissa's relationship is not acknowledged. So for those of you who don't know, Tegan and Nissa were confirmed to be dating in the Sarah Jane Adventures series finale thing they did during COVID. I feel like Chibnall's not going to acknowledge that at all. I just, I feel like he's just not going to mention that. Um, I don't know. It's just a hunch. And if he does, it'll be like a passing message, and we probably won't even see Nissa. Okay, next we see some classic Doctors. Now it's just a theory that's been flowing around the internet that we might see some classic Doctors. Now I don't really know. This is kind of a maybe for me because um, people are like, look, all these classic Doctors took a picture together, and it's like maybe they were just recording Big Finish. Maybe they're at a convention. Who knows? But considering that my theory that the Doctor turns into David Tennant, maybe not right away. Maybe she turns into like Colin or Peter or the other ones. And then she turns into David Tennant and then Shooty Gatwa. Maybe that's what they'll do. Or maybe like we'd see the classic Doctors more in like the 60th and we just see his whole turn into like one of them and then turn into the next one and 60th. It could be like each of the episodes. I don't know. This isn't a 60th prediction bingo. That'll probably come next year. Okay, moving on. Bill and Vindor are going to be implied. It's the last son to be the Doctor's parents. Now, I don't like this as an idea, but this is Chibnall. I don't like any of his ideas, but I feel like they're just going to say that because it's been a fan theory, and you know how Chibnall likes fan theories. The whole reason he made Yaz in love with the Doctor was because fans thought it would be cool. But yeah, it's going to be the same thing like that, where there's going to be like really no setup at all, and probably be disappointing. What were Bell and Vindal's purpose in the Flux anyway? Like, what did they add to the story, really? Nothing. Moving on. Dan leaves of his own free will. Chibnall's had this thing going on. Well, I mean, okay, that's not really a thing because there was only one companion leaving, two companions, but in one episode, where they kind of just leave because they want to. And I actually like that as an ending. They don't have to like get killed off or get turned into a puddle or get stuck in another universe. That they don't have to do that every time. So I feel like Dan's just gonna leave to be with his crazy girlfriend who can't decide whether or not she wants to date him. What I think would be funny is that they showed Dan in the TARDIS at the end of the episode, but then for the 60th, they act like he was never there, and he just written off the show with no, like he's just not even written off. He just disappears, like Carrie's sister in King of Queens. Okay, moving on. Joe Grant shows up. Now, this is my theory because they showed Ace and Tegan the trailer, and I was thinking, I would have rather not known that until the episode came out. But maybe that's not all who's coming back. maybe Chibs has a few tricks up his sleeve. And I thought, who would be the most likely to come back? Probably Joe Grant. Um, now I love Joe Grant. She's like my favorite companion, one of them. And I feel like everybody else is either too old, too busy, or just like wouldn't make sense for them to be in the episode. Like Wilmana. I don't think we're gonna see Wilmana. Okay, moving on. We have. It's not explained how UNIT got their government funding back. So if you remember in Resolution, the best episode ever, that doctor tries to call UNIT, and some random government lady's like, "UNIT got disbanded because of government funding." Um, which is very strange. Like, shouldn't that be the last thing you defund? But anyway, Chibnall retcons that kind of in Flux, where the evil guy from Line of Duty is like took over it from the inside. I don't really know what happened though. It's very vague. It doesn't make much sense. But that's what I think. And then in the next episode, it's just like it's back. Like if I'm sounding incoherent, imagine how Chibnall must be when he like explains the plots of his episodes. So I just feel like they're not even gonna mention that unit's like they're not gonna give a clear explanation on how unit got their funding back, or how the Grand Serpent was even able to do that in the first place. Like I'm just really confused, and I feel like they're not gonna mention that because there's already so much stuff going on, and the episode's only 90 minutes long. Like all the stuff that's in this episode feels like it could fill a whole season of television. But Chibnall had seasons of television, and he couldn't like his first two seasons he didn't do enough, and in his third season he did too much. So I don't know. I think I'm just rambling at this point. Moving on, we have the Doctor goes on a 10th Doctor style farewell tour. Um, I feel like this is kind of obvious. We see that Graham's coming back, and we know that Chibnall kind of copies Russell beat for beat. I feel like Jodie's Doctor's kind of felt like an 11th Doctor, except without the depth. And Era copies Davies's Era a lot. So I feel like they're just going to do this. Do I want them to do this? No. Are they going to do this? Probably. But at least we see Graham again, who I think is the best character in Jodie's era. But he's going to be with Ryan, who's the worst character in Jodie's era. So take with that as you will. Okay, Tegan's reason for leaving the Fifth Doctor are never mentioned. So, for those of you who don't know, when the reason Tegan left the Fifth Doctor is because the Dalek episodes he was in was very bloody and disturbing, probably the most violent episode I've ever seen. And she's just like, "Fuck this, I'm out of here. I can't take it anymore." Which is a very unique way for the companion to leave the series, and a very strong, like memorable exit compared to a lot of the 80s companions exits. So knowing Chibnall, he's probably not even going to mention this at all. Or just really not mention it. Okay, moving on. Kate Stewart barely gets any lines. Now this is going off of her appearance in The Vanquishers, which was the last time we saw her, where she kind of just stood around in the background and did nothing. So that was a very packed episode. This is going to be an even more packed episode. So I feel like it's not a stretch to think that Kate won't have a big role in it. She's just gonna be there. Which kind of sucks because I liked Kate a lot in the Moffat era, especially her appearances with Capaldi. Anyway, Graham and Ryan are alien hunters now. We're gonna see a scene of Graham and Ryan hunting aliens because in the end of series 12, they left and they're like, we're gonna use these psychic papers to save the world or something. I don't really know what happened. It's been a while. I don't rewatch Chibnall episodes because I don't hate myself. So yeah, that is my 16 called bingo. I wonder how much I'll get right. Probably not that much. Is it worth me to zoom out? I'm not used to doing this. No, that does not. Oh, yeah, there it is. There it is. Zoomed out. Okay, that's my bingo called. What do you guys think is going to happen in the Power of the Doctor? Do you think the do you think the sex gas from Tibnall's first episode will make an appearance? You know, make a whole, bring it around, because the sex gas was the most memorable tortured villain there is in the first season and a half I watched. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.